Today we are talking to Gururajan Govindan, and just so that the audience know who you are, Gururajan, can you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Hi, Nathan. Hi, everyone. My name is Gururajan, and I have been working in data science for the last 3 years. And I have around 7+ years of experience working across different domains such as insurance and finance. So I started my career with IBM, and then I worked with the Bank of New York Mellon. I had my own startup too. And apart from this, I love playing badminton and love reading books. And currently I'm reading books such as Sapiens and others, Bold, Sapiens, and other things. That's a brief about me.
You have a lot of experience. You work for IBM. You have a startup as well. So lot of experience in the data science domain. So can you tell everyone will be interested to know, like, how did you get into this field? Did you always want to be in this field, or did you made a switch from some field?
So my case was a bit different. Okay, it was more of an need than a want. So when I started my startup, we used to work with financial data, and you know how slow Microsoft Excel is.
Mm.
Beyond a certain point, you cannot start do your analysis, and that's when I hit upon Python. So Python, I won't say that it is a love at first sight, but right now I'm so used to it that I can't go back to my old ways. So that's how I embarked my journey towards data science. And right now, apart from that, I'm also currently writing a book on data analysis for Python with that publication. And I think it should be out in the month of May 2020.
Oh, that's great. So you are an author as well. So I'm sure everyone,
Yeah, a newbie author. Yeah.
everyone will be looking forward to that book that you will be releasing. So while writing that book, um, what were you thinking? Like, okay, I want this book to be like this, so that people can understand. What is your target audience? Are they new beginners, or are they intermediate users of Python, or what? Who were you writing the book for?
So my target audience was more like beginners as
Okay.
well as intermediate users.
Okay.
So I wanted to see like what are the possible ways through which we can do our analysis in a more productive way and a faster way. So I believe in automation. I don't want to do things manually. I'm a bit lazy guy. So I prefer to automate. So I was exploring certain concepts such as like maybe like PyForest or like pandas profiling, or maybe using TensorFlow to do data analysis, automated data analysis. And I also started exploring more on AutoML, maybe using
Mm.
H2O and other
Yeah.
packages. So these are few things that I wanted to talk in my book, and I did my best. Yeah.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Everyone, whoever's listening, make sure to follow Gururajan, and then when that book is released, make sure you get a copy. It's aimed at beginners and intermediate users of Python, and then he talks a lot about how to automate things. What should a new person who's starting into data science should be um, thinking of, like what resources, where to start? What is your advice to those people? Like, where should one start? Should they start with the, okay, I'm going to learn Python, and then I'm going to learn like the math behind machine learning and things like that? Or should they start with the foundation, like statistics, linear algebra, calculus first, then learn the tools like Python or things like that?
Okay, I would answer this question in a bit different way.
Okay.
There are two ways. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a structured way and an unstructured way.
Yeah.
A structured way is like maybe you take a course from a Coursera, or
Yeah.
maybe take some course from Udemy or from Udacity. There's another way which is unstructured. You start looking at YouTube channels, you learn from them, you start coding them. So it entirely depends on the person you are. So for a person like me, I preferred a structured way
Okay.
because I didn't have the luxury of time to go towards the unstructured way. And the math part, so that's a very good question. So I didn't start with the math part. I
Okay.
started with machine learning. I started with Python. I went towards machine learning. And then I took a step back. I went to the math part. Because without math, I cannot proceed further.
Yes.
it becomes entirely difficult. It's very difficult to proceed further. So that's how I did. But I would prefer people to start with Python and simultaneously go with the math.
Okay.
And before embarking towards machine learning, make sure that your foundation is strong, because you don't have to go a lot of to and fro.
Okay, so that's very good advice. Like you can go, like both can go hand in hand, isn't it? Like do
Yes.
a bit of Python and then do some theory. That both can go, and then when you reach machine learning, try machine learning, and then the point when you get stuck, and then you feel like, okay, I can't go forward anymore without learning a bit math. Then you start with the math behind the machine learning and proceed it from there. So. Another question that everyone get confused about is like people coming, especially people coming from a non-mathematics background, is like how much math should I know to get into this field? Can you briefly explain what would that be? How much math would someone need?
So from my experience, from my interaction, so I also train people.
Okay.
From what I have seen people from different domains. Some people from mechanical, some people from economics, some people from biology, some are even dentists. They're not from the engineering background. So what happens over there is that if the guy or the person has the drive to learn things, it doesn't matter from where they come from. So their undergraduation or their background doesn't matter. Until and
Okay.
unless they have the urge to learn, they would be able to do it. I would say to begin with, they should know statistics. They should understand the descriptive and inferential statistics. I won't say the not the advanced topics, at least the basic topics to begin with. Because without that, it is going to be very difficult for them to enter into this field. And even if they enter into this field, they cannot travel further. They will be hitting a roadblock. So I would just suggest them to start with the basic statistics alone at least. And then they can pick up whatever is required based on the role. As you were saying, a data analyst might not be required to know maybe calculus or linear algebra, but a data analyst should be knowing statistics.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so the core skills might be like statistic probability. It's a must for.
Yeah, it's a must. It's a must.
What, in your opinion, like the things that you shouldn't be doing in data science?
Okay, the things that you shouldn't be doing, I would say like directly don't get into solving a very complex problem, because
Okay.
you would lose your confidence. Start small, take some baby steps. Don't enter into a candle competition on the first go. Take your time, build your basics, and then go to a candle competition. See how people have solved it. Don't directly jump into things. And the lesser the information that you get, the better. Because right now we are being like bombarded with information, and it becomes very difficult for people. So when people talk about data science, they think that it is just model building. It is not. Okay. Data science as such is a huge field. So data engineering is something which people aren't focusing on. So that's something which I wanted to like point out. To be frank, even I didn't like spend much time on data engineering part. And right now, I feel that I should like upskill myself on data engineering, because only when you have the data, you can do any kind of analysis. So the analysis can be like maybe an advanced analytics, or it can be machine learning, or it can be just data mining. So what we need to know is that where the data is going to come from. How are we going to centralize it? So start, I would request people to start thinking in that perspective. Where the data is, how are we going to centralize it? And what is the problem at hand? And what are we trying to solve? So if you have all the information like this in your hand, then you'll be able to take a better call. Sometimes it is not even required for you to even build a machine learning model. And a simple EDA would be able to solve the business problem.
Okay.
So there's no point of like jumping into machine learning or even deep learning for the case.
Yeah. So
Knowing the business problem matters
yeah.
more.
Okay. So that's some really good points there. Like you don't need to make complex things complex if it can be
Yes.
solved in simple. If something can be solved using, for example, like a linear regression, you need to go for like complex algorithm to solve it, because end of the day it's a problem. And some very good points there regarding data engineering. The models only going to be as good as how good the data is. So
Data
it's really important. Like we create a good foundation where a clean data, a good data is going to come up. Not clean data. Data is never clean, but good structure. You make it as much structured as you can,
yes.
and that is one of the things like SQL skills, where
Yeah.
most people when you search online, you always hear about Python, machine learning, but you not never hear enough
SQL.
skills. So that is
True.
really important, that to have that skill under your belt, isn't it?
True. True.
Yeah.
SQL is a very important skill, to be frank. And so it happened for me. So when I began my journey with data science, I didn't focus much on SQL. So I got a very wonderful opportunity with one of the top consulting companies, and I went to the interview. I cleared all the rounds. So the final round was SQL, and I got rejected in that. So then I understood that, okay, why haven't I spent my time on SQL? So we think SQL to be simple, but until unless we are in touch with it, we tend to forget.
Yeah, exactly. So when it's quite easy to learn, but at the same time, it's if you don't use it enough, it can easily get complex. The joins and the subqueries and things like that. So it's
Subqueries and Windows functions.
yeah,
So
it's
until
really
unless we
important.
use it,
And then you just briefly mentioned Kaggle competitions. So
yes. So what I would suggest is that maybe I like analytics Vidya more because I see that their problem statements are not that complex,
okay,
and once if people can start following others, what the other people have done, maybe start seeing their kernels and their approach. Maybe once you see like 10 or 15 of those kernels, you get your own idea. You weave your own story. You get your own approach. So in data science, it is not about your models. Okay, it is more to do with your creativity. That is feature engineering. What are the kind of features that you're going to like create from that? What is the information that you're going to collect from it? So in that way, I like analytics Vidya more than Kaggle because I feel Kaggle for a beginner would be not advisable.
okay.
It is a
They
bit
might
more
find it a bit
complex.
advanced for their
Yes.
yeah.
And I don't want people to lose their confidence. At the end of the day, like your confidence is what is going to carry you for long.
Yeah. So that is a good advice from that. Try out if anyone hasn't been on Analytics Vidya. Please go on there and check it out, and then see how it weighs against Kaggle. And then if you think Kaggle is more advanced, you feel like you're not confident getting a data set and doing it on Kaggle, try out Analytics Vidya. And so one of the other things that people get confused is just like when they enter this field, there's this confusion about R and Python. So what to learn first? So what is your take on that?
Okay. So had this question like came to me in 2015, I would have told people take R, but we are into 2020, so it's Python.
Yeah, simple one straight answer. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So just quickly, just can you tell me why do you think that?
So see, end of the day, right? It is a kind of support that you're going to get for language. Okay. So the kind of support that you get for Python is way greater than the support that you're getting with R. So your community is what that matters. So the Python community is really good, and if you hit a roadblock, and they are there to help you. So with R, it is good, but I'm not able to uh, see much. It is like dormant. The community is very dormant. So I do see that they are doing some good things, but when compared with Python, no, it's not of a match. And
Okay.
from what I see, so there's one other promising language which might overtake both R and Python. That is Julia.
Yeah.
Maybe in the near future, maybe if we are going to have a podcast like this in 2023, so Nitin's question would be like, is it going to be Python or Julia? And that time, maybe a guy would say 2023 with Julia.
Okay. let's say someone started off in data science, in that journey, they studied this foundation, some programming, and they did some projects. When, at what point do they think they should start applying for jobs, and they should think like, okay, now I'm ready to apply for jobs? At what point should they start doing that?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
Because you learn more from attending interviews. So even though you spend a lot of time like doing competitions or like studying, working out, uh, so the when you are attending an interview, right, the real time experience is where you learn. So the more the interviews you give, the better you would become.
Okay.
So I would say as soon as possible would be my suggestion.
Okay. So yeah, that's a good point, where you attend your interviews, then you come out of the interviews, and then you note down like what went well, what didn't go wrong. Then you go back and then you correct those weak points. Then you attend your interviews. It's an iterative process, isn't it? That's what
Yes.
you're saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Then correct yourself, and then because you don't know what's real world problems they're looking for
Yeah.
while you're studying. So it's really important that you attend as many interviews and then get that information and then correct yourself.
So it's like a Pareto principle. Like you do 10, you'll get 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And last question: if you could give one advice to aspirers or who is starting this journey into data science, what would that be?
So the journey in data science is going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy. So stay strong and don't quit. So the journey is going to be for long. So don't quit.
Okay, so that's great advice. Don't quit, because sometimes many people, just before they achieve success, they just quit, and then they will be so close to success, but they quit and then they lose everything. So it's really important that you should persevere and go forward without and be patient, like, because it will take time, and then 100% you will get there. So take that advice from Gururajan. Thank you very much for that. Um, so we've reached the end of the podcast interview. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a real pleasure to talk to you, and then everyone watching. Make sure to follow Gururajan on LinkedIn, and then keep an eye out for that book that will be coming out soon. And then thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Nathan.